Sexual harassment. Call it out. There is no place for bullying, discrimination, or harassment in our army. Yeah, you all remember that one, don't you? You all remember that one. 2018 or something that one came out, and we all had a bloody good chuckle about it, didn't we? Because what insane delusional fantasy land exists where big burly foreign men are at the mercy of predatory blonde girls. It's you couldn't make it up, could you? Only a nation consumed by a warped ideology would ever print a poster this stupid. But I've got good news for you. I just found an even better one on Twitter, and it's now on the walls of barracks up and down the country. I bet you can't wait to see it, can you? Okay, so I saw this image floating around on X, and I found an actual story leaking it from the now mercifully defunct BuzzFeed News, because they only ever wrote puff pieces praising total nonsense like this. And it says the British Army's guide for spotting extreme right-wing soldiers has leaked online. Army officers were told to look out for individuals who describe themselves as patriots. Yeah, that crime. I mean, what type of soldier would ever describe themselves as a patriot? Captain America, he was a wanker, wasn't he? He'd never call himself a patriot. That's why he punched people whilst wearing a big flag as a uniform. Oh yeah, and also you can't make generalisations about those two protected faiths who appear to have the whip hand these days, even though British soldiers have been fighting various wars against, especially that first group, openly, and being trained by the state to murder them for about 2.5 decades. So yeah, it's a little bit mental, this one. The chart is absolutely ridiculous. Patriots is one of the categories. Let's have a look at a few more, shall we? I shared this image on my own X account and pointed out that basically they've called everyone far right, haven't they? They called Boris Johnson the fat, baggy-faced albino jellyfish, porridge-faced, spineless, lying fanny rat that he is. They called him far right, even though he brought in 1 million foreigners a year. And they called Trump and Farage far right, even though the latter has been in charge of America for a combined total of about 6 years, and he's still never done anything far right the entire time. And now, according to the British Army, they're calling anyone who refers to themselves as a patriot as an extremist fanatic. So what does that mean? Well, it means about 70% of the country are extreme right-wing and should be in prison, according to the left-wing psychopaths that run the nation, doesn't it? Other good things on there, let's just see. In fact, you know what we should do? I'll just go through it and see if I use any of these things, because I've got a very open, accessible YouTube channel. I've nearly got 80,000 subscribers now. I've got a pretty big following. I've got about 1,000 hours of my politics on there for the whole world to see. Definitely not far right. Wouldn't be allowed to monetize YouTube channel if I was far right, would I? Let's see which of these I've used, shall we? Describe themselves as patriots. Yeah, do that. Look at their opponents as traitors. Yeah, Keir Starmer is a traitor to the British people. When you tell everyone that you prefer Davos to the Houses of Parliament, and when you tell everyone you're more worried about random fellas from Somalia than you are English people, you are a traitor. So yeah, he definitely is. I've done that. Refer to individuals ready to challenge their views as being indoctrinated. Definitely are. Anyone with eyeballs and ears knows for a fact that the colleges and universities have been indoctrinating kids for about 20 years. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, and about 10,000 other significant political reporters on both sides of the Atlantic have made that point. So I'm 3. Refer to political correctness as a left-wing or communist plot. It is. You don't get right-wing people that are very politically correct, do you? It's by definition a plot. So 4, use blatantly untruthful or incorrect references to... All right, I don't think I do that. Pretty certain all of the crime and criminality that I report on is definitely truthful. So I don't do that one. So I'm only at 4. Add Istan to British place names. I don't do that. No, I always use the correct terms, which is Bradalabad, Manchalabad, and lun abba dabba ding dong. So no, I don't do that. So 4 out of 6, that's not too bad. Use the term, no, I don't do that because I wouldn't dare use the I word in public, when the communist overlords run the UK. Make generalisations, I don't think I do that, no. Make inaccurate generalisations about the left or government, I definitely do that because it's not inaccurate. You lying commie shitbags. Everything I say about the government's true, verifiable by even things that are as wet as The Independent or The Guardian or the BBC. So I'm sorted there. Talk about an impending conflict. Yeah, probably. The numbers don't lie. Describe multicultural towns as lost. Yeah, I've done that before. Discuss the creation of white... No, I don't think I've ever done that. As I said, I'm a 90s nationalist. I'm happy for it to go back to 1993, which, there's no entirely white-only communities, is there? Used to always visit Bobby Quocks in Middlesbrough. You definitely need some immigrants, don't you? Just a couple. Threaten violence when losing an argument? Nah, never lose an argument, me. That's never happened. Claim it's acceptable to abuse people? No, I don't do that. Have tattoos? No. Become angry at perceived injustice? Well, all the time. Lucy Connolly getting locked up for 3 years will boil my piss until the end of time. So yeah, I do that one. Involve people in closed social media groups. Yeah, I'm in about 8 of them. Actively seek out impressionable individuals. Does having a YouTube channel count? Probably, if the left-wing Gestapo come round my house. And have extreme right-wing group stickers or badges. And bear in mind, their definition of extreme is a politely worded sticker used by Mr. Mellier, which he purposely politely worded and didn't attack any other groups. And it spelled out the words, it's okay to be white. And apparently that is extreme to the point where if you put it on something, you should go to prison for 3 years, like Stalin's running the country. So, what are we at there? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. 9 of them. So, apparently, if I was still a bootneck, you'd have to report me through your chain of command and to the Army Warning Advisory and Reporting Point. WARP. Yeah, WARP. There's a very apt acronym, WARPed, because they practice a warped ideology. Anyway, so this is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. The insane delusions of the authoritarian state. You're all fascists now, boys and girls. I defy you to find me a single person who isn't a Guardian reader or a BBC journalist or employee or member of the Labour Party that doesn't tick at least 3 of those boxes. So, we're all going to the gulags, boys. Strap yourselves in, grab your ankles, they're coming in dry. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think this is just ridiculous because, you've got a fully functioning brain, let me know. And if you think it's perfectly reasonable to lock people up for ticking any of those boxes, you best have plans to build about 250 more prisons, because I think there's going to be about 35 million people in the cells come 2029, isn't there? That's all I've got time for. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.